Hey everybody, this is So Many Sequels. I'm Josh.
I'm Andrew.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm David.
We are smack dab in the beginning of the yet to be named for the third year in a row Christmas portion of the season.
I thought we came up with it. It's So Many Santas, yo.
Oh, so many Santas. So many Santas. That's right. That's right. We just don't know how many Santas there will be in this particular one.
At least.
Yeah, there might not be any. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll find out. There were no Santas in the movie we're talking about today.
That's right.
Andrew's got a Santa. Garrett's a Santa.
He's drinking out of Santa's brain. What are you drinking?
Hot chocolate.
That would be Santa's brain, really.
Are you really?
I am, for real.
Okay.
This isn't a prank like when I did it.
No.
I just half expected him to just be drinking water out of it.
Just water.
Just water.
You just chugged that bit of hot chocolate there.
But yes, you're right. This is the month of So Many Santas. Where we're talking about Christmas movies all month long. You might have seen last week, we talked about our great Christmas movie debate, where we all came to the table with rules and regulations and qualifications for what makes a Christmas movie. If you did not see that, go check it out. The YouTube version is fun. You can find that on the So Many Sequels YouTube channel, and of course it's in the podcast feeds as well. Just subscribe to one or all of them. I don't care.
All of them.
Yeah, that's preferred.
Just do a blanket.
Listen, you ain't got to watch. Just subscribe. What's it going to hurt you?
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Just hit that follow button.
Yeah.
We get
you
enough
get a
follow
notification.
buttons.
You get notifications every day that you open and close and ignore. We're no different.
True.
Yeah.
True. Let us be
We
one
can be
of those
that for you.
notifications.
Yeah.
Share us around.
So we went through all those and made some enemies probably, but that's okay.
Hey, that's all right. We'll find out if this movie meets all our qualifications.
But now we are reviewing Christmas movies that have been kindly picked out by Santa Claus. In a way, Santa sent us a letter last week. You can watch that video on our social media or on YouTube. And he basically said, hey guys, I like the show. I want you to think really hard about the movie you want to watch, and I'm going to make it happen in some way, shape, or form. And he did that once already by surprise sending David a copy of the movie we're talking about today, The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Woo!
That's 1992 Muppet movie starring the Muppets and Michael Caine. Directed by Brian Henson, who is Jim Henson's son. I believe it was his directorial debut even.
I believe so.
So, if you've seen any Christmas Carol, you know the drill. Michael Caine is Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge. He is visited by three ghosts, the ghost of Christmas's past, present, and future, to try to change him of his greedy ways and make everyone not hate him. But this one has a nice Muppet twist.
Yes.
We've got Charles Dickens is Gonzo. He kind of serves as a narrator of sorts, being the author of the book. Kermit is what's Kermit's name? Bob Cratchit.
Bob Cratchit.
Yeah.
Bob Cratchit and the other Muppets, follow in smaller roles. So we'll get started with David, I guess, since this was his Christmas wish.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you think? I don't know. It's a dumb question, but what do you think about the Muppet Christmas Carol?
I thought it was really, really good. I thought it was quite enjoyable. And, this is one of the ones I've rewatched several times. Not every Christmas, but, usually every few Christmases. I love the little details about this movie. I love that Michael Caine literally doesn't act like he's in a Muppet movie at any point. He's just completely straightforward, doing this role the same way he would do it if he was like doing a show, like a play in England, or if it's so fun because surrounding him is all the Muppety stuff, and it just you wouldn't know. And I think that as far as adapting A Christmas Carol, it gets it pretty well. It does a really good job, I think. They cut out a few things here and there. They kind of streamline a few a few of the interactions with ghosts and stuff. But if you're someone who really likes the Christmas Carol and you've seen a lot of the different adaptations, I would put this right up there as kind of like a B+, maybe even an A- adaptation of the story, with a little bit of things added in for children and families to enjoy. I found Rizzo to be particularly fun in this movie. This was kind of one of his bigger roles in the movies, is being Gonzo's sidekick here, and I thought that it was a welcome return for a lot of the characters. I actually thought that, we talked about this a lot in the past. This is one of the more tolerable movies for Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
There was a point where I was like, maybe Miss Piggy should always have these two daughters just kind of like echoing her and like checking her, because she doesn't really have a good foil. But her two daughters here were just like, and she was like, she's like, it's fun to see Piggy get annoyed by her. What makes her annoying? But yeah, ton of fun. I'm so glad I picked it, because I don't even know what complaints I might grab about it.
Yeah, I'll go next. I feel the same. I mean, there's not a lot of things to complain about with it. It is a classic retelling of the Christmas Carol. If you've seen it, you know it. It doesn't really stray from it too much, which is a good thing, I think. It just kind of brings some of the Muppet humor to that story, which is otherwise not particularly funny. It's not a, I suppose it has a happy ending, but the Christmas Carol is fairly depressing throughout, which is kind of the idea. I mean, this guy is a jerk, and he needs ghosts to show him how his life could be better if he weren't a jerk.
Well, and I think that's why Michael Caine did such a good job, because he brings that gravitas of like realism and urgency to it, and him building it up so much. Whenever the humor comes in, it's kind of a relief, really, because he really does give you that tension, and he acts like they're normal people. And I even noticed I felt like in the credits, I really enjoyed that they just treat the Muppets like they are just human beings, and they've made it. They're no longer like trying to be successful. They are successful now, and they're just movie stars. So they're acting in a movie with Michael Caine, and it's just them acting. And I thought that was a way to really maybe move forward with the Muppets had they done it. What I think they should have done is have like retellings of these short stories. Even while watching the movie, I said I would really be interested to see them do some kind of Muppet adaptation of The Raven. I think that would be interesting, just because the narrator really helped that story, and the narrator can be outside the story, and then you get your Muppet aspects like you would. They broke the fourth wall. They were funny. Gonzo was using Rizzo as a fire pump. They had all of these humorous Muppet things that didn't necessarily directly involve the story itself. The story itself was just a regular telling with musical and Muppet stuff. But the real Muppet stuff, the slapstick, the silly, was outside of it with The Village, where you get it with Charles Dickens and Gonzo. And so I thought that was a really good dynamic that they brought that helped even it out.
Yeah.
Andrew?
Yeah, it was I love when they do this. And what I mean by that is that when the Muppets take on a classic story and they adapt it as kind of their own. And the Muppets are they're just like a takeaway by themselves. I will say that some of their own movies don't necessarily work, but like for this, especially for adaptations, I wish they would do more. And it's kind of yeah. They really need to do more, because as far as I know, they've only done this and Muppet Treasure Island,
and those are the two best movies pre the rehash.
Yeah, but like,
well, in the original,
I don't know about that.
The original.
Yeah, I think that's the only. I think those are the only two. I mean, they could do more. There's God knows how many other stories they could do, but no, there was. I love Michael Caine, so I am kind of biased.
Okay.
But like,
why you mean biased? Everybody loved Michael Caine in this movie.
I'm just saying, but Michael Caine is like Michael Caine. I mean, you can't get around.
Fair enough.
He is.
Fair enough.
In fact, Michael Caine is Michael Caine.
I don't
Unless his
understand,
name
but fair
isn't
enough.
actually Michael Caine. Then it's
It's Michael Caine.
He's
Yeah,
Michael
but anyway, but no, there were parts in this movie. There was one.
And I got news for y'all. Hang on. His name is not Michael Caine.
He's lying!
I had to look. That man's name is not Michael Caine.
Oh my gosh. Michael Caine
Like-
is not Michael Caine.
It's like
That
Thomas,
man-
like Fassbender or something.
No, he's not Fassbender. his name is Maurice Joseph Micklewhite Jr.
Good.
Michael Caine is a much better name.
But he
Michael
goes by Michael Caine.
At least
He
by
does.
stage. Michael Caine's a better stage name.
Michael Caine.
Anyway, I had to interrupt with that breaking news. Go on.
So anyway, Thomas Joseph Sappington, whatever. Like,
Micklewhite Jr.
There's a lead
Sorry,
singer,
Junior.
Saliva.
Junior.
No, like there was one Muppet in particular that I found a little disturbing, and that was Ghost of Christmas Past.
Mhm.
I knew it.
I
Yeah.
could like every
It's
time
really
I saw
freaky.
that Muppet, it
Hate it.
freaked me out.
Hate it.
It's because of The
And-
Conjuring. That's why we're
Yeah.
afraid of it.
No,
It's Annabelle-esque.
but like I will say that like the story of A Christmas Carol, yeah, is I mean it's sad. It's also really scary. Like
It can be.
It's a scary story. I mean, even for a Christmas tale. So
Well, hey, watch Mickey's Christmas Carol. That shit's scary.
Yeah, oh, that's another good one. It's only like
It
26
is,
minutes.
it is a good one, but it's scary.
I will even say that the 2009 version with Jim Carrey,
Mhm.
like there were points.
That's scary for a different version.
Yeah.
reason.
But
Yeah.
like,
It looks
It's one
like
of the
shit.
best.
it's that was scary that was really scary. But
Yeah,
but
really
like with
leaned into
this version in particular, it's very lighthearted. I love Rizzo. Rizzo in this was Rizzo and Gonzo both were really funny, and they delivered that comedy very well. Some of the songs were okay. There wasn't a lot. I was just like, oh man, that was a really good song. It's no Rainbow Connection, but I'll take it. They do a good job with it, and above all else, it's just a fairly decent movie. I liked it a lot.
My favorite Rizzo part is when he jumps over the fence and then he just walks back through it. And Gonzo's like, "You could fit through the bars?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he just goes, "You are such an idiot."
One of my favorite parts.
That's
because
funny.
It was fun.
One of my favorite, in a similar vein, is when Rizzo he falls down the chimney. He lands on the goose. He's like hopping around dancing, and Gonzo comes in. He goes, "I fell through the chimney and landed on a piping hot goose." And Gonzo goes, "You have all the fun."
My favorite Rizzo moment. There was two of them. When Gonzo was like trying to look through the window, and he's like, "Man, this city is really dirty." He picks up Rizzo and thank God I'm being used for something in this film. And there's another one where Rizzo kisses Gonzo's nose.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Yeah, I
That was
actually
so insanely
actually
funny for
hard-
no reason.
I laughed
I
really
had
hard.
to
That
back
was
that up. It was
a
so
super
funny.
Bugs Bunny move by Rizzo there. Just to like, Gonzo's just looking at him like, "The heck are you doing eating jelly beans out here?"
Yeah, no, that was hilarious. That was so funny. I agree that the songs were not like super great. They were very solid and they were very good, and they met the tone of they were the perfect songs for the movie. They didn't blow me away, but they were very strong and they were very solid. I agree that the Ghost of Christmas Past was bad. I didn't like it.
Scary.
It was spooky.
I also think that I think they missed an opportunity to use some of the Muppets. As much as we hate Miss Piggy, I think that if this were a true Muppet movie, they would have given her. Honestly, I think it would have been funny to see her as the Ghost of Christmas Past. I know the Ghost of Christmas Present might make more sense, but I think that she can get a little sassy because the Ghost of Christmas Past got a little sassy, and I could see Piggy kind of just going or whatever just to get a point across. And then they use the Ghost of Christmas Present. What's the name of the Muppet that is like trying to chase the car down in the first one? David?
Oh, Sweetums.
Sweetums make a perfect Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah.
I think they could have, instead of introducing new creepy floating doll heads, they could have just used other Muppets that already existed in those parts. And I think that would have been a little more fun.
Yeah.
But small quips, just small quips.
Yeah, watching the audio commentaries and things like that, I found that they considered that. It was, in fact, this was originally pitched to be a TV movie on ABC, and originally they had this idea of, I think the plan was for the Ghost. I don't know, I can't remember who they had for the Ghost of Christmas Past. Peggy was the Ghost of Christmas Present, and then I think the idea was to have it for there to be a late, like an end of the movie reveal that Animal was the Ghost of Christmas Future. And when they got the pitch to because Disney looked at it and they said, we actually would take this as a full film, like a theatrical film. And they were like, okay. So they went back and they started retooling the script, and they kind of, apparently they came to the decision that putting the Muppets in those roles might hinder the actual message of what those characters are supposed to bring, because they have to they're writing kind of to their traditional shtick. Like if Gonzo's is Christmas Past, they kind of have to write it like Gonzo, make it funny, the same way that they did the Marleys, because they had Statler and Waldorf as Jacob and Robert Marley. And it's very much it's that character giving that warning, but it's played with these two guys who are heckling each other and Scrooge.
Yeah.
And I kind of see both ways. I think that the puppets they did end up making look really cool. The Ghost of Christmas Present I thought was really, I really took to him as it went on. Christmas Past was creepy, and I think appropriately so. It's sort of a thing that a lot of people forget, that this is, at the end of the day, one of Dickens's ghost stories. And it's, we kind of had this talk the other week in our Christmas debate, is that this is a movie that uses Christmas as a good contextual background for a different genre, which is a ghost story. Like it's supposed to be scary and it's supposed to be a little bit off-putting. If you go back and you look at some of the original sketches that went with it, the Ghost of Christmas Present or a Past is always super creepy. Because it's, I don't know, it's this idea of like the looming past that, you're trying to outrun.
Everybody's haunted by the past.
Yeah. And so I think, they could have done that. They could have cast the original. They could have put more Muppets in the movie. I like the little places where they did show up. Sam Eagle coming in as the headmaster, who's like, "You will be a great businessman for America," and then he's like, "I mean for Britain," Very good. I also want to talk about. So this is the first time chronologically that we would see Steve Whitmire take over for Kermit after Jim Henson's death. And so we've kind of already been used to it. We've seen a couple other movies. You can go back and watch our Muppet Treasure Island and The Muppets. But I thought kind of out the gate, it's kind of must be a really daunting situation to take over for a character that's an iconic character, has kind of an iconic sound. What did you guys think of Kermit in this movie and sort of that change?
Honestly, I didn't even notice. I thought I always thought he did a great job. I thought it was a good transition. You can look at the voice that they have for Kermit now, and he's noticeably different. He's got very similar speech patterns, but the voice and the tone and the timbre or the timbre, they're very different than what Jim Henson was to this. What's his name?
Steve Whitmire.
Steve Whitmire. Yeah, but I thought he was a very nice and easy transition.
Yeah, I thought it was really good in that respect.
I'll be honest with you. I thought it was good. It was very seamless. The one thing I will say is that Kermit wasn't around enough to really notice him. So
that is fair. I mean,
he's not really like
Michael Caine is the focus.
And maybe they were conscious of that, Maybe they were like, hey, this is the first time.
Give them a little bit because they know. Ease it in. If you just kind of pepper it in, people won't notice it too much, and then they'll just get used to it. I get it.
Yeah, so that could have been the case. I don't know if that is the case or not.
Well, and maybe they were like, we don't necessarily want to super showcase Kermit after Henson's death. Maybe, I don't know.
No, yeah, definitely the focus in terms of this movie, the spotlight really kind of shifts towards Gonzo and Rizzo, and this would be kind of like one of 3 movies where Gonzo is kind of more the center character. Well, not really. I mean, Muppet Treasure Island is kind of that way, but this Muppet Treasure Island, Muppet Space, Gonzo and Rizzo are kind of like major characters, which they haven't really gone back to since. I don't know what else is there we can talk about.
I think the movie for me dragged just a little. It wasn't like long. I don't know. Mm-hmm. There were just some parts where I felt myself becoming a little disinterested, but I couldn't tell you why. Maybe it is just the fact that I've seen it so many times, and you kind of feel comfortable with a movie like that, and you can kind of zone out and come back in and know what's going on and what happened. But for me, it was kind of like, okay, let's tie up these ends here. And
beyond even seeing this particular movie before, you've seen Christmas Carol, you've seen a lot of interpretations of Christmas Carol. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It's easy to be like, oh, I kind of know generally what's going to happen here.
Now, I do want to ask, what is y'all's favorite version of A Christmas Carol?
I mean, I don't know them all off the top of my head.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just pick one.
I mean, for me, I think it's this one. This one does a good job of giving you a little bit of creepy, but then right as that creepy feels like it could get super creepy, then they hit you with the funny. The example of the first seeing of Marley, where he turns the face into the door knocker, it gets like real kind of creepy, and then it turns into a Muppet face, and it's like, that's not scary anymore. That's funny. And with the music that they do and the message that they still get across, I think this is a really good telling of the story, honestly.
Yeah, this one's up there. There's a version. It actually was a TV movie with Patrick Stewart as Ebenezer Scrooge, and I really liked that one when I was younger. I haven't watched it in a while though. I really like the Disney's The Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. It's one of the better, like in terms of like adaptations, it's like page for page at some points, and taking a lot of visual inspiration from Dickens, like the original illustrations that went with Dickens' stories when they were finally put into book form. It's a little, like the animation of it is still like hard to go back and watch these days, but it was that super mocap stuff that Zemeckis was doing, but I think it's, in terms of adapting it, really good. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like hard not to say this one sometimes.
This is definitely the one I've seen the most.
I've seen Scrooged, but I don't know where I would put that.
Yeah, I think I'd have to also go with this one just for lack of having seen a lot of different versions. I did want to say that there was a like kind of horror spooky version that came out on television last year on FX in America. It was actually a BBC production with Guy Pearce as
oh yeah, I remember
Scrooge.
Forgot about that.
And I had intended to watch it, never did, but it looked very good.
It's a new year.
It's a new year. It's a new
day. New
day.
Year, new you.
Well, it's still a regular year.
True. Andrew, what's yours? You asked which one. What, you've seen many, I assume.
So, since this is new, I would go ahead. I mean, well, this is new to me because this is the first time I've ever seen this.
What?
This is the first time I've ever seen Muppet's Christmas Carol.
Why did we not lead with this? This is, you buried the headline, bro. That's news.
Every other episode, Josh asks, was this anyone's first time? And the one time, Josh doesn't ask.
I failed.
I don't know what he said, but it's probably not good.
You broke our internet over here, brother. Like, what in the world?
Yeah, I've never seen this up until today.
Andrew. Put in some box sound effects over there. Great Anson's ghost.
I literally just broke everybody.
Gifted. Man, we were having such a nice conversation about this movie, and then Andrew gonna drop the nuclear bomb on us. Goodness gracious!
How did you walk away never seeing this particular Muppets movie? It plays all the time. At least it did when we were young.
It was one that I just missed.
Oh boy.
But yeah.
Well, are you putting it towards the top now after your one viewing?
It's definitely going to be close. I would say my favorite version, just because I find it to be the funniest, would be Scrooged. I broke Garrett. I really broke Josh.
Don't drop that in there at the last second like that.
But like, it would have to be Scrooged.
Yeah.
Runner up would be the 2009 version with Jim Carrey.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think it's, of all of the movies that like stay true to the source material, I feel like that's the truest.
Yeah.
But yeah, this would be number 3. This would definitely be number 3.
I mean, there's been countless. I just pulled up A Christmas Carol on Letterboxd, and there's countless versions. Not even including TV films. I mean, who could forget Barbie and A Christmas Carol?
Oh my God, that's my favorite.
Yeah, I looked it up on
Christmas Carol.
I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it looks like perhaps the first or the earliest surviving screen adaptation is Scrooge or Marley's Ghost from 1901.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been not that long after this was written. Hang on.
No, 1843.
Yeah.
Not even 100 years later.
So I mean, we have to admit, it's a cinematic novel. Like it begged to be put onto film at the earliest that it possibly could be. I don't know how we're gonna come back from that.
Nope.
Because Andrew, you told us didn't you watch? You said you went to the theater to see him up at Treasure Island, didn't you?
Yep.
Man, I don't know how this missed you.
God.
This was on. This used to be on Disney Channel or ABC or stuff all the time whenever it was Christmas when we were growing up. Okay, well whatever. Hey,
it's
fair enough.
It's in the past now, but
The Ghost of Christmas Past.
But yeah, this is a movie that I didn't watch.
Okay.
I'm just stunned that you just so casually put that in there like we were supposed to know this. That was impressive.
Shocker.
Oh my God.
A shocking revelation.
I genuinely did not know that. You probably told us that before and I just forgot, but holy crap, I did not know that.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Anyway. Wow.
But yeah.
Well, let's see. Is there anything else that we want to comment on here?
I can't. I don't know.
I pretty much said everything I needed to say about it.
Yeah, you did.
I appreciate that there was a joke that just had to be done. The fact that in the book there was a character named Fezziwig, and they just said, "Well, that's going to be Fozzie."
Yeah.
And it's going to be Fozziewig. That couldn't be not done. What else? We talked about it was an ABC television script. Blah 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 blah. No, I guess that's it. That's all I got. I really like it. I think,
Very good.
If you go back for earlier this year, you watch our other Muppet movie recaps. I think this is one of the better groups of movies we've done. We only had one that we all kind of agreed wasn't our favorite. That was a Muppets Take Manhattan. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like we watched 4 really solid ones, and then I also watched the other ones. Muppets in Space, not great.
2020 season dominated by the Muppets.
Yep. Thank you, the wheel.
Thank you, Wheel and 2020.
The wheel that has gone into exile now.
Well, it bit us hard.
It burned us, man. It burned us, that wheel.
It burned us hard.
The Muppets, and that's sad.
Go to the box office, boys.
Okay.
Box office boys.
That's a podcast idea right there.
Yeah, that's our band name.
Oh, yeah, God. Can we get matching like beanies and jean jackets or whatever?
Beanies
2 years
and
from now,
jean jackets.
With that bedazzled on the back.
Box office boys.
B.O.B.
I'm here for it.
Jackets on the back. All right.
What a great time to decide this as the box office is potentially dead.
I know. I was going to say 2 years from now, when the box office actually has numbers again, maybe we can start a new show. All right. So, The Muppet Christmas Carol. You got to get it right. There's no S in there. Debuted the weekend of December 11th, way back in 1992. And it did not perform well. Disney, who had purchased the distribution rights for this, had super high hopes. It was, I think, the first time that Disney and the Muppets had actually collaborated on a film. Super high expectations. And for some reason, it really did not meet them at all. This movie debuted in the number 6 spot, bringing in $5 million, like even, in 2,075 theaters, which I was looking up. This was not something that I would normally look up, but it said it in their Wikipedia entry. This was the most theaters that a Muppet movie had ever been put in to that point. So Disney was like the widest distribution they could possibly put it in for 1992. 2,075 theaters across the country, and it came in number 6 opening weekend with $5 million. The number 1 movie that weekend was A Few Good Men, which also debuted that weekend. Another beloved movie from the early 90s, $15.5 million for it. Here's probably where a lot of that Christmas competition went, though. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, was still in its 4th week, out for a month, and brought in $8.3 million. You also had...
if you ask me, that's the best Home Alone movie I've ever seen. It's the best.
At
number
3, I Will Always Love You. It's The Bodyguard. And at number 4, in its 5th weekend, is Aladdin, Disney's own Aladdin, bringing $7.4 million. So that was still riding strong.
David, I want to interject real quick because it looks like Andrew has a beef with The Bodyguard.
Andrew,
and I want to unpack that a little bit there.
He's never seen it.
Just this week was the first time I've seen that too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What made you watch The Bodyguard?
Because it was
never The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Because he heard the song on the movie episode of the Way Back Flashback, which you can listen to right
Yes. I Will Always Love You on The Bodyguard, performed by Whitney Houston, written by Dolly Parton.
Garrett didn't know that.
Did not.
And he calls himself a music connoisseur.
I do not call myself
You've called yourself that on several occasions.
On the way back,
I consume music.
You have a jacket that says music connoisseur.
On the note of the Way Back Flashback, we went through an entire 90s country music episode where he didn't know a single song, and I picked some big hits.
Oh yeah, you picked some big hits and guilty pleasures.
I did.
What?
And it was
go listen to the episode, boy.
You can find the Way Back Flashback on Spotify Premium.
Oh man.
Anyway,
you can't stream that on my Xbox, unfortunately.
But
okay, moving on back.
This movie was going off of HBO, and it was like Last Call or something like that.
Oh.
Last Call for the Bodyguard.
Yeah, and
I better watch this. I better watch this movie from 1992 real quick. I may never get another chance. It's leaving HBO.
Yeah, I mean, like I was bored. I think it was like Sunday night.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this movie. Why not? And I watched it, and it was It was okay.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason why the song is the only real memorable part.
Yeah, everybody talks about that song.
Apparently, that soundtrack was like a dynamite hit.
Everybody wanted "I Will Always Love You," and they didn't have iTunes back then.
Yeah, and Whitney Houston kills it. But if you never heard the Dolly version, it's also very, very good.
The Dolly version is really good. Yeah. It's from the best little whorehouse in Texas.
Listen,
So
we stand Dolly Parton on this show. We love her.
Yeah.
There's no reason to not love Dolly Parton.
None.
Exactly.
An angel. Back to the box office, boys.
Back to the box office, boys.
Anyway, we had Aladdin at number 4.
Y'all.
Aladdin.
To wrap it out at number 5, you had The Distinguished Gentleman. Yes, it brought in $5.4 million in its second weekend. The Muppet Christmas Carol would go on to only make $27 million in the United States over its apparently 5-week run. And so they took that out right at Christmas. It did bring in very much from overseas as well, bringing in only $1.9 million from its international market, which, according to Box Office Mojo, it released in France, Italy, and Spain, and that was the only overseas territory. So, not a big haul for the year. Where would it finish? It would finish in the 47th spot for 1992, right behind Stomp or My Mom Will Shoot, and right above Howard's End.
Oh, God.
Another movie Andrew has definitely seen, but not
Neither
the
of
Muppet
those
Christmas Carol.
No.
Either of those movies you should have had a reaction to, Andrew.
Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Yeah.
That movie is horrible.
I'm upset that you know what it
say
is.
to you.
Why have you seen Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, but you haven't seen him up at Christmas Carol until 2020?
That is a great question that I would like the answer to.
You can't defend any of this.
That's a great question I want the answer to, Andrew. Please.
What even is this? I'm going to have to look at it now.
Well, you see, one day it was leaving HBO, and
No. This is a movie that, like, it has Sylvester Stallone in it.
That's not a good movie. Does not a good movie that make.
Oh
No. It's
oh
horrible.
my gosh.
All the more reason not to watch that and watch them up at Christmas Carol.
Josh, I don't want to give you.
I was 7 at the time.
Josh, I don't want to give you more work to do, but you should probably put this poster in like post production over.
Oh no!
Listen. I just need to address that Andrew also talked about this movie that he only watched when he was 7, and he remembers that it was terrible.
Josh, let me share.
That just got run over.
Okay, I don't know. Just do it. Do your thing.
Yeah, let's see if this works. Host disabled participant screen sharing. Okay, well, whatever.
I don't know how to turn it off, so
it's Sylvester Stallone with a woman named Estelle Getty, and they're just staying in bad boy style. And the mom has a huge like LG machine gun, like something you would get in Gary's mod.
What is it called?
It's called Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have the Meet the Spartans font.
It's this.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
the Sylvester Stallone's face looks stitched into this photo.
Well, like
I imagine it looks like this.
He looks like.
All right. Well,
This has gone off the deep end,
it is.
Anyway, the top of the 1992 movie chart was Aladdin, as you might guess.
Perfect.
Which was the only movie to break the $200 million mark that year, $217 million. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, starring cavalcade of people, including Tim Curry, which we talked about earlier this year. Would bring in $173.5 million. In the number 2 spot, Batman Returns at number 3 with 162. Lethal Weapon 3 is in the number 4 spot, 144 million, and at number 5, A Few Good Men. Andrew, do you know what won Best Picture that year?
Unforgiven.
That was Clint Eastwood, yeah.
That was Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, they came in at the number 11 spot, and was made $101 million. Some other big movies from that year that we might cover at some point. Who knows? There was a Sister Act 2, wasn't there?
Yes.
So Sister Act, Wayne's World. There was a Basic Instinct 2, wasn't there?
Not until later.
Yeah.
Like in the 2000s later.
What else we got here? We got White Men Can't Jump. We won't cover that, but I just wanted to say it. Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And we're also not going to do this one, but I want to do it because Andrew will react to it. Death Becomes Her. So those are some of your top movies from 1992. Since this is the last time we're going to do the Muppets, okay. Since I won't be, sorry, I had a message there. This is the last time we're probably going to be doing the Muppets. Muppet Christmas Carol is the 6th highest grossing movie in the Muppet franchise. The number one, obviously, you could probably guess, being 2011's The Muppets, which we reviewed earlier this year. And the lowest grossing is, as you might expect, Muppets from Space, bringing in just 16.5. So that's it for me. And let's see.
I do have one more thing I wanted to mention.
Oh, go ahead.
Just because you brought up Home Alone 2, and this is topical humor.
Yeah, okay.
Have y'all seen the stuff going around, the memes and the social medias, that there are people who don't know that Catherine O'Hara from Schitt's Creek is the mom from Home Alone?
Yeah, I did see some of that going around.
I did not.
I believe it started with a tweet from Glamour that was like, OMG, I just figured out that Moira on Schitt's Creek is Kevin's mom in Home Alone. And then the internet started going, are you high? They ended up deleting the tweet, but the article still exists. And it's been very funny to follow. Catherine O'Hara is like an incredibly prolific and esteemed actress.
Yeah.
And I just did some Googling real quick, and there is even a Snopes article confirming that she starred in Home Alone.
Wow.
Kills me. These kids, man. These kids.
Yeah, they don't know nothing.
False. They got nothing.
I'm honestly shocked that anybody these days even really thinks about like Home Alone's kind of an older movie by this standard, so I'm surprised kids even watch it these days to be like, "Wow, I didn't even realize that was the same lady."
I mean, I'll give you that her character on the show looks quite a bit different than Kevin's mom.
I'll be honest. The bigger gaffe there is admitting you watch Schitt's Creek.
Hey, now. This show's very funny.
Yeah, I know, but you might as well have some hot takes, right?
We might as well have some hot takes. Okay, well that was...
All right, so...
Do they also know that she's a stepmom in Beetlejuice?
Probably not.
Probably
she
not.
is in Beetlejuice.
She's great. She disappears into every movie she's in a great way.
Which is why it's such a surprise.
She's funny as hell.
Okay. Who's running the game this week? It's been too long since we reviewed it.
I am. I looked it up. I won our last show, which was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Excuse me, I'll get it out. We didn't mention this movie was dedicated to the memory of Jim Henson, being the first Muppet movie released after he died, but it wasn't the first movie to be dedicated to his memory. That was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. Check out our Ninja Turtles reviews. That was bad, but fun.
They happened.
But it was fun to talk about. All right, so the Muppet Christmas Carol on Letterboxd. I've got it pulled up here. I believe, Andrew, you're up first. Andrew is currently in last in the Letterboxd game at 6 victories on the year. Statistically impossible, I think, for Andrew to win. But he might as well try. So, Andrew, what is your guess from 0 to 5.0 for a Muppets Christmas Carol?
I'm going to go with 2.8.
Oh, what is wrong with you?
Hey, now, don't let him don't give him a chance to fix it.
Let
him go.
Hey, Andrew,
I'm gonna jump in and go.
When he goes low, we go high.
Yeah, 4.0.
Yeah. I'm gonna go a tinge lower than that and say 3.8.
So yeah, Josh saying 3.8. You're saying what? 4.0?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. 4.0, 3.8. Andrew, 2.8. I can officially say
he's gonna win. He's gonna win.
Hang on. Andrew, I need to know. I want to know if I were to ask you what you thought the Letterboxd score was for Scrooged, what would you tell me?
Wait, why are we what?
This is just for me. What?
3.2.
Okay, go for it, David.
Okay. I can say with all confidence that Andrew, at this point, is now statistically eliminated. The winner, and I'll tell you what, guys, it was close, but not close enough because the winner this week is Josh. It is exactly 3.8.
Yes. Ate my shorts.
I don't know. What is that? The highest Muppet movie? I don't know. Let me look.
Might be.
Let's see. 3.8. It's actually 3.79 to be precise. And let me look here because I want to find this out and find out what, in terms of Muppet movies, is the highest rank. So anyway, so Josh wins. So that takes Josh to 12 wins on the year. It's not over yet, though, because Garrett or I could. Well, Garrett might not be able to catch me. We're doing 3 more movies for the year, right?
Yeah.
At least.
I think we're doing 3 more. So I could. Well, no, because if I win, I won't be able to play the game. I don't care who goes. Well, anyway, we'll just keep playing. What are you guys' rankings? I'm going to look up your official rankings. I'm going to look up how it does compared to the other Muppet movies.
4. 4 from me. It's a 4 from me, dog.
I'm going to also give it a 4.
I'll give it a 4 as well.
I will give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. Because I think it's pretty much perfect. There's a few things where it's not quite like the music could have been a little bit more iconic. I'll give you, but I think it is, like Garrett said, it's just the right mood. And I sort this by.
I mean, really, the Marley and Marley is the only one that stands out to me, and that's just because that's what they say over and over again.
I like Marley and Me, the movie. With the dog.
With the
Jennifer
Owen
Aniston.
Wilson. We're Marley and Marley. I'm so close to finding this. Andrew, do you want to tell us more about movies that you watched before you watched The Muppets Christmas Carol?
No,
please don't.
The podcast can't handle that.
It can't. The audience can't.
On,
I will tell people that if you haven't gotten a chance to subscribe to our social media channels and our YouTube channels yet, you should do that, and you will find that David and I just this week recorded a little news reaction update episode about the Warner Brothers decision to move its entire 2021 slate to HBO Max and theaters simultaneously. A lot of interesting speculation there. It is purely speculation at this point because we don't really know anything beyond they're going to put it online on the same day for a limited amount of time. So big changes in the movie world for next year. We don't know what's going to happen.
Not thrilled about it, but at the same time, there ain't nothing we can do about it.
Hey, one of the things David and I talk about is that there's no real good option here.
So I finally have the answer here. In terms of theatrically released films, A Muppet Christmas Carol is the second highest rated Muppet movie on Letterboxd.
Wonderful.
Behind just The Muppet Movie.
Perfect.
So there you go.
All right. Well, that wraps up our first Christmas review episode of So Many Santas 2020. We will be back next week with another Christmas movie. You'll have to watch for the announcement video on that once Santa sends a present. It's supposed to be my present. So keep an eye out for that, and you will find out what we are going to do then. In the meantime, follow us online, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Letterboxd. You can follow our show there as well as us individually. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. And have a happy Merry Christmas season. We can't wait to celebrate it with you.
That's right.
Bye-bye.